James Madison versus Oregon. And when you think about Oregon, there's a narrative a little bit surrounding them. They haven't really played anybody. They haven't really beat anybody, and that is true. They lost by 10 to Indiana, and their best win is probably USC. They did beat Penn State in the whiteout. That game was electric. But this Oregon team's also been banged up. They haven't had their standout freshman receiver, Decorian Moore, all season. He might make a return here. And I hope Oregon isn't overlooking this James Madison team, because let me tell you, this JMU team has all of the makings of a potential upset. They're second in the country in time of possession. There's not a single team in the field that rushes for more yards per game than the James Madison Dukes. James Madison also has the second best run defense in the country, the second best run defense in terms of yards per game in the field. Some crazy, also like kind of out of the box stats here. They are top three in both block kicks and blocked punts. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but a team that controls the time of possession, has a good run defense, is stingy defensively. They can get sacks as well. They have a very good turnover margin also. They don't turn the ball over a lot, and they create plays on special teams, top three in both blocked punts and blocked kicks, and second in the country at time and possession. How does that, like, that is everything you need to put together an upset. Control the clock, keep Dante Moore, keep Sadiq, keep DeCorian Moore if he plays, keep Whittington, keep them off onto the sideline, control the time possession, run the ball, and then you look up in the fourth quarter, Oregon hasn't been on the field at all, and it's a one-possession game. I think JMU has a better shot than a lot of people think they do in terms of upsetting, because that's just the type of football team they are. Stingy defense, control the clock, good rushing attack, good run defense, dual threat quarterbacks, which can be a pain, especially for a team in Oregon who doesn't generate a lot of sacks. They are the only team with less sacks in this field is Georgia. So I think JMU is getting completely overlooked as a potential upset just because of the way they play. They have all of the makings, all of the recipe for an upset is the JMU Dukes. All that being said, though, size and talent does matter. It does matter. And I was looking it up. I did look it up. Every single starter on Oregon's offensive line is 300 pounds or more, which is like obviously, right? A bit power for a Nike budget. Then you look at JMU, they have two players on the defensive side of the ball that are over 300 pounds. One of them has 3 tackles all season long. The other one plays. The other one's like top 4 on the team in sacks. I think he leads the team in stuffs. He plays. He's a big key of their defense. He is the anchor of their defense. Not going to tell you his name. Don't remember his name, but they have 2 defensive linemen over 300 pounds, and one of them doesn't see the field. This is Oregon's offensive line. JMU objectively is not seeing offensive line. Left tackle 6'8", 318. Right guard 6'5", 318. Left guard 6'3", 330. Right tackle 6'6", 330. Like that, the size does matter. And Oregon is a pretty solid team at running the football. I think if DeCorian Moore doesn't play, which he hasn't in a while, but Dan Lanning said he's not. They didn't shut him down for the season. They expected him to return at some point. If he doesn't play, that makes things a lot easier because their 3 starting corners are 6'1", 5'9", and 5'11", which is that's not crazy undersized. It's just all 4 of Oregon's leading receivers are above 6'4". And I think the tight end Kenyon Sadiq could be a real problem. He's a matchup nightmare for anybody in college football. A team like JMU undoubtedly has not seen a player like Kenyon Sadiq. So obviously I think Oregon wins. And I think Oregon, in terms of straight talent, I would argue they have more NFL guys. The only team with more NFL guys is probably Ohio State. It's just also continuity. They've been injured, and they haven't really beat anybody other than USC. But when they did beat them, I think Oregon can win the national championship. I'm going to say right now, I am a Dante Moore believer. I think they probably have the best, if not the second best. They might have the most talented quarterback. In terms of pure talent, they might have the most talented quarterback in the field. They have the size up front. They have one of the best offensive lines. If they can get DeCorian Moore back, they have one of the best rushing attacks in football. Their real only weakness is that they don't generate a lot of pressure. I mean, they barely allow three yards per carry. Dante Moore's also only been sacked 12 times. 6 of them came against Indiana. So outside of Indiana, who led the Big Ten in sacks, Dante Moore doesn't get pressured, hasn't gotten pressured. They have the third best pass defense in the country, only allowing 144 yards through the air. The only team in the playoff with a better pass defense is Ohio State. But then again, that bodes well for JMU because Oregon's not a or JMU is not a pass first team. They are a run dominant team. Here, I have it up here somewhere. Hold on. Run heavy ball club led by Wayne Knight, who had 200 yards against Troy in the Sun Belt Championship. JMU ran the ball 239 more times than they threw it this season. So Oregon can have the best pass defense in football. JMU doesn't throw the ball that much. They are a run first team. I think JMU could pull off the upset. I will be betting them. Like obviously 21.5. I'm not saying go and bet it. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. I think they have a much better chance than Tulane does based on the makeup of their team. I love them plus 21.5. I think they cover that. Although it is in UG. It is in UG. Listen, all of this upset talk, I understand it sounds crazy. But from a pure logical standpoint, from a team that were to pull off a crazy upset, they need to keep the other team's offense off the field. They have to have a good defense. They have to control time of possession. They have to have a good rushing attack to control time of possession. And they need to get some help from their special teams. JMU is top 3 in blocked punts and kicks on the year. So like from a pure makeup standpoint, that is a team that can upset somebody. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, I think Oregon, in terms of NFL guys, is probably the most talented outside of Ohio State in this field. But JMU is not an easy out. I think JMU is easily better than Tulane, even though Tulane does have the 2 Power 4 wins against, was it not Nebraska, Northwestern and Duke, the ACC champ. Funny enough, but JMU in their game against Louisville, they were winning that game in the third quarter. They put the ball on the ground, scoop and score. They threw an interception, and that was really it. But they were in that game. They got outgained by Louisville by 1 yard. So they can play with these Power 4 schools. They have the talent. They have a freshman edge rusher out of Baltimore who's going to be playing in the SEC or at a good Big Ten school next year. His name's on here somewhere. I'm not even going to bother in finding it, but he has like 7.5 sacks. He leads the team in sacks. Freshman from Maryland. That is talent. That is a good player. So I like JMU to cover. I think I don't want to call it, like I'm not calling it, but if there was a team out of these G5 schools to get an upset, it would be the Dukes. And I think that like the timing as well, like not to go off vibes, like everything I said recently, like just then was logical, but the vibe of like everybody's ripping on the G5 right now, like don't let them in, don't let them in. They're just gonna get blown out by Oregon. And I'm a Dan Lanning guy. I think he's a tremendous coach, so I doubt that. I doubt it happens, but I don't know. I feel like people are really, really quickly to write off this JMU team without looking into it a little bit. And listen, I barely watched them play all year. Same with Tulane. Barely watched them play. I'm not going to say that. But just looking at this team, doing the research on this team, statistically, what they do is control the clock, create explosive plays on special teams, win the turnover margin, good run defense, stingy defense, good pass, or don't take a lot of sacks, good rushing attack. Quick water break. I think JMU has a chance here. All right, enough talking about the Dukes. But I think Oregon is a team, though. I said it when I started, like, what are teams I think can win the national championship? I absolutely think Oregon can. I think pure talent wise, they're up there with Ohio State. Obviously, Ohio State's on a different level, and Indiana also is incredible too. But I like Oregon a lot. I think Dante Moore did get banged up a lot in that game. They did have injuries on the defensive side of the ball, and Dante Moore got injured in that game as well. But they also did have DeCorian Moore at that time as well. And that guy's a stud too. That guy is a stud. If they get him back, they might not need him against JMU, but they're gonna need him against Texas Tech